This is the original key and lock for the church. It is of that age. It probably is, and it's been here encased in the front for as long as I can remember. But it gives you an idea what the original church key and lock would look like.
The Charlotte Church?
The original name for this was Charlotte Church, named for Queen Charlotte of England, which once the British leave Long Island, the congregation gets together and votes to name it St. John's. It was probably not a smart thing to remain with a British name after that. But there was actually a kind of Revolutionary War battle fought here. Whether it was a bunch of raiders coming down to steal things or not, there was a fight, and some people were injured or killed depending on how much trust you put in the newspaper reports on this property. And in theory, there are probably some British soldiers buried here in unmarked graves in some portion of the original property. We've not found them, so we can't tell anything other than what tradition shows. But yes, this plaque is thankful for Louise Oers, who gave a gift to help refurbish the church, and she actually was a member of the Methodist Church in Sayville. And she lived at the Oers home, which is part of now a town of Islip office. And these members of her family, her predecessors or ancestors, are buried here in the churchyard, which is why this was an important place for her. Which shows that these people are also members of the Methodist Church, and they were here in Oakdale and buried here in this churchyard because this was the burial place. Well, we call it a balcony today. I forgot what their exact term was because I was using it last night and talking to people. Basically, it was a way to increase the amount of seating. The story goes as that was for Indians and slaves, but then again in 1840 there were no slaves in New York State. So it could have been for segregation, it could have been for expanded use. We don't know for sure. In the restoration, by the way, was added sometime in the 19th century, probably in the 1840s when they did some restoration here. And that is from St. Thomas, a gift to St. Thomas Church in the city in Brooklyn. And it is supposedly very old. Again, I don't have all the details on that.
How did that happen? How did St. Thomas?
I would guess that you've got to remember that the Ludlows were very well connected. He was a politician. He actually lived in Manhattan and had some land in Brooklyn. And that probably gave him connections that we otherwise would not have had. This is the original altar, which has been restored. It had been in storage for a while. It's been brought here. The first service was celebrated on this, according to tradition, celebrated on this altar. And it had been replaced by a modern marble altar, which has been removed, and that's out in the churchyard right now, and that's going to be used as part of a columbarium that the congregation is planning on establishing. This leads to the sacristy, which is a 1965 addition to the building. It was put there so that elements and so forth could be prepared for communion services, because before that there really wasn't anything except closets in these two areas. So this allows them a little bit of an ability also to heat. The heat for the modern heat is in there, and this building was electrified at some point in that time, and it now has electricity. So otherwise, if you look, you can't really see the modern portions at all because they're hidden.